President Trump has won against climate change Bill Gates. I hope you understand the importance of this. I think many of you, not you specifically, but many people don't realize the importance of what's happening in the world. I think people just think that this whole thing with Trump is something temporary and it's just going to be like whatever. Look at this. So Bill Gates, as you know, Bill Gates has been a long time this... he defended climate change and the doom is coming and the humanity and the world and the earth, we are doomed and stuff. Look at this. What Bill Gates is saying now, after President Trump has been in the White House for like 9 months and he was invited to the White House, Bill Gates. Please understand that when Bill Gates was at the White House, he wasn't there as a special guest, okay? So Bill Gates is now saying, and this is like this week, although climate change will have serious consequences, particularly for people in the poorest countries, it will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. Emissions projections have gone down. Whoa! And with the right policies and investments, innovation will allow us to drive emissions down much further. Bill Gates has completely changed his mindset and his speech. I guess this is going to be tough for Greta Thunberg and the United Nations. Remember about Bill Gates? This comes just after a month when President Trump did the speech at the United Nations in front of everybody, and he said, climate change is the biggest hoax on humanity. Now, and Bill Gates, all of a sudden, he changes his policies and his mindset, and now he's not saying any the same like doctrine that he said for years. Look at this. Bill Gates is saying now, although climate change will hurt poor people more than anyone else, for the vast majority of them, it will not be the only or even the biggest threat to their lives and welfare. The biggest problems are poverty and disease, just as they always have been. Understanding this will let us focus our limited resources on interventions that will have the greatest impact for the most vulnerable people. Remember how when Bill Gates was mocking all those people and scientists and other people, he called them conspiracy theorists when the people were saying, climate change is just nothing, it's just like emissions and all this stuff is just, you're just inflating a ball, right? And Bill Gates was laughing and everybody was laughing. All of a sudden Bill Gates, new climate message. All of a sudden climate change is not the doom and gloom of the world, of the spinning ball earth with curved water, as they say, right? Because if you say something else, people don't like you. So look at this. President Trump wins. And do you know why Bill Gates is saying this? By now, President Trump made a post on Truth Social, which is like the X. Look at this. President Trump recently. We, referring to the American people, just won the war on the climate change hoax. The President of the United States of America says climate change hoax. Bill Gates has finally admitted, says President Trump, that he was completely wrong on the issue. It took courage to do so, and for that we are all grateful. MAGA. President Trump has won. Bill Gates was part of the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. So if Bill Gates has changed his mindset, and Bill Gates is one of the top billionaires and most important people, heck, Windows and Microsoft, come on. And Bill Gates is now on the side of President Trump. Now, so what would Greta Thunberg, Greta Thunberg, the Swedish girl who has been yelling for years that climate change this and climate change that, and Bill Gates has now had to he was on the CNBC exclusive, and he had to, he actually said it, and then the reporter was asking, so how are you going to defend now this message of new climate change? Because for years you've been saying what. You've been calling all the other people that they're wrong. And then it says here, like John Strand, in a stunning reversal, Bill Gates now says climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. And then he says, so do we get a refund for all the obscene taxes and regulations he and his people under the false banner of saving the planet? What a total con job. Like President Trump says. President Trump says, climate change hoax. And President Trump at the United Nations speech in New York last month in September, or a month and a half ago, said climate change is the biggest con job and hoax on humanity. I guess the World Economic Forum doesn't like this, does it? And the United Nations. And then there's a message here saying, this is a huge victory. Of course it is. Like Bill Gates, who was like always saying, we have to prepare for the for the end of the world and stuff. Bill Gates and the climate change alarmists are finally admitting humans will be just fine. Truth tellers were demonized for years for saying the extremism was unwarranted, but even with massive censorship, the data keeps proving that human activity is not causing the planet to combust. The conspiracy theorists remain undefeated. So where is now the whole thing with like back in just like a couple of years ago? They were saying, oh, if you don't accept climate change on the spinning ball Earth with curved water spinning in space with curved water on the exterior of the curve, you are a conspiracy theorist. Well, Bill Gates, why do you change your mindset just because President Trump has said it, right? Because I'm guessing that you know more than President Trump does, right? Because you have been, saying this all your life now, pretty much, your adult life. And this report is saying that after years, doomerism is a mistake. After years of saying stuff like the world emits over 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases, and as we keep doing that, the consequences, life will be catastrophic, blah blah, and time is running. Bill Gates now says, so all that was said by Bill Gates before. Now Bill Gates is saying, oh, climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. And these people here are the people who were against Bill Gates during the days when climate change. So these are the people who were saying that climate change is a hoax and stuff, just like President Trump says. And these people were insulted, and they were they went through a hard time and with the jobs and everything. And all of a sudden we oh yeah, and the Trump admin just hired 3 outspoken climate contrarians, right? So the Trump administration has hired these people who were blamed for being conspiracy theorists. This was in July. So I'm so happy. I'm not sure if you understand the importance of what is happening. So it's Bill Gates who is saying this. It's not like somebody with an opinion on Bill Gates. Bill Gates is admitting that he was completely wrong, that he agrees with President Trump, right? And I don't even know why people don't. I mean, this is like official news, okay? Sky News, CNN, like the official media. As some people like to only watch CNN and Sky News and NBC and all that stuff. So if you still don't understand what happened here, hey, President Trump, hey, Bill Gates, and there are some people who are still saying that somehow President Trump is like the others. He's like Obama and Bush and Clinton. You should even the mainstream news media is now speaking about this. Like one of the most intelligent people in the truth community has said, you will not recognize the world in 10 years. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I am so happy to be here and to witness this. So thank you, President Trump, and thank you, Bill Gates, for coming back to common sense. Bill Gates. See you in the next video.